So today we are going to solve one more practical example. This is practical example number 4. So first let's read the practical example of capital reduction. See, as we have discussed in the previous session, જે આપણે ડિસ્કશન કરેલું, પહેલા આપણે ઈઝી એક્ઝામ્પલ કર્યા, પછી ધીરે ધીરે લેવલ જે છે એ આપણે થોડું ટફ કરતા જઈએ છીએ. એક એક એડજસ્ટમેન્ટ્સ આપણે એડ કરતા જઈએ છીએ અને લાસ્ટમાં આપણે માસ્ટર સમ કરીશું. ક્લિયર? So look at the example. Following is the balance sheet of Bharat Company Limited as on 31st March 2020. So we are given balance sheet of one company, that is Bharat Company Limited. On the liabilities side, that is sources of fund, we have share capital 16,000 equity shares of rupees 10 each, 10,000 6% preference shares of rupees 10 each, reserves and surplus, secured loans and long-term liabilities, and current liabilities and provision. Clear? This is liability side. On asset side means application of fund, we are given fixed asset. In fixed asset we have goodwill, patents and trademarks, freehold assets, plant and machinery and furniture. We are given investment of rupees 15,000 and we are given current assets, loans and advances. In that we have stock, debtors and bank balance. And at the last we are given profit and loss account, that is debit balance of rupees 40,000. Total of assets and liabilities side both are 4,15,000. So this is a balance sheet given of Bharat Company Limited. Now look at the further example. The company has passed the following scheme of capital reduction. What is the scheme of capital reduction? Look at here. The value of equity shares to be reduced to rupees 1.25. Now see here. The value of equity shares reduction કીધું છે. કેટલું reduction કીધું છે? 10 rupees shares છે up to rupees 1.25. It means that there is reduction of 8.75 rupees per equity shares. The value of preference shares to be reduced by rupees 1 per share. એટલે preference share માં 1 રૂપિયાનો ઘટાડો આપેલો છે અને equity share માં 8.75 rupees નો ઘટાડો આપેલો છે. Clear? Next, share premium and intangible assets are to be written off. See here, share premium, that is a kind of capital reduction, and intangible assets. In intangible assets, we have goodwill and patents and trademarks. So that is reduction, utilization. Clear? Moving further, plant and machinery valued at rupees 70,000. Now look at here, plant and machinery ની નવી વેલ્યુ આપને આપેલી છે. કેટલી છે? 70,000. Old value 1 lakh, new value 70,000. So there is a reduction of rupees 30,000 in plant and machinery. Number 5. This is a new adjustment. This is a new adjustment. The dividend on preference shares is outstanding from April 2016. Preference share નું dividend outstanding છે. હવે આપણે જે પ્રમાણે ડિસ્કશન કરેલું એના થિયરી પાર્ટ, તો શું કરવાનું છે? જે ડિવિડન્ડ પે કરવાનું છે એ પે કરીએ છીએ એની જ આપણે ઇફેક્ટ આપવાની છે. આઉટસ્ટેન્ડિંગ ની ઇફેક્ટ નથી આપવાની. સો લુક એટ હિયર, ડિવિડન્ડ પે થાય છે. So one equity shares of rupees 1.25 is to be given for rupees 10 preference dividend. 10 રૂપિયાના ડિવિડન્ડ સામે 1.25 રૂપિયાનો એક શેર આપવાનો છે. ક્લિયર? તો એપ્રિલ 2016 થી આપણે જો ડિવિડન્ડ calculate करिए, so we have dividend outstanding for 4 years, 16, 17, 18 and 19 April, March. So we have 4 years dividend, that is 6%, 1 lakh, 6% for 4 years. So that comes to 24,000. હવે એ 24,000 આવશે એની સામે આપણે પ્રોપોર્શનેટ ઇક્વિટી શેર કેટલા આપીએ છીએ એ કેલ્ક્યુલેટ કરવાનું છે. સો ધીસ ઇઝ પોઈન્ટ નંબર 5, that is new in this example. Clear, dear student? Pass necessary journal entries in the books of company and prepare revised balance sheet after implementing the scheme of capital reduction. Done? So this is an example. Now we have to solve the example. ફરીથી એકવાર એક્ઝામ્પલ સોલ્વ કરતા પહેલા આપણે શું યાદ રાખવાનું છે? સ્ટેપ્સ ટુ સોલ્વ પ્રેક્ટિકલ એક્ઝામ્પલ. જો in every example what we are doing, we are remembering our steps. જો સ્ટેપ્સ ઇઝીલી યાદ રહી જશે તો પ્રેક્ટિકલ સોલ્યુશનમાં ક્યારેય ભૂલ પડવાના ચાન્સીસ નહીં હોય. So let's take a look at the steps to solve practical example. Calculate capital reduction. Step number 2, utilization. Step number 3, difference. Step number 4, journal entries. Step number 5, capital reduction account. Step number 6, cash and bank account. હજુ સુધી આપણે step number 6 નો ઉપયોગ કર્યો નથી. Step number 7, prepare revised balance sheet. અને ફરીથી એ જ વાત, revised balance sheet જ્યારે આપણે તૈયાર કરીએ છીએ ત્યારે શું ધ્યાનમાં આપવાનું છે? We have to write the word after the scheme of capital reduction along with the heading of balance sheet. Clear, dear student? So let's start the solution of this practical example. So what is given in this example? The company has passed the following resolution. The value of equity shares to be reduced to rupees 1.25. This is reduction in equity shares. 2 rupees 1.25. Now look at here, my dear student. The value of equity shares previously was 10 rupees each. Now we are given as a reduction of 1.25 up to rupees 1.25 reduction. क्या देके रखा है? हमें reduce कहाँ तक करना है? 1.25. तो अगर 10 rupees के shares को हम 1.25 तक reduce करेंगे तो वो reduction कितना होगा? 8.75. Clear? Adjustment number 2, the value of preference shares is to be reduced by rupees 1. अभी देखो preference share जो 10 रुपए वाला दिया उसमें reduction दिया है 1 रुपए का. अभी यहाँ पे word को ध्यान से समझना है. The value of equity shares is to be reduced to rupees 1.25 and the value of preference shares is to be reduced by rupees 1. So this is a very important. एक जगह पे दिया हुआ है कि 1.25 तक reduce करना है और जो प्रेफरेंस शेयर है उसमें 1 रुपीस से रिड्यूस करना है. क्लियर? शेयर प्रीमियम एंड इंटेंजिबल एसेट्स टू बी राइट ऑफ. प्लांट एंड मशीनरी वैल्यूड एट रुपीस 70,000. सो फॉर वैल्यू प्लांट एंड मशीनरी वी आर गिवन अ न्यू वैल्यू. डिविडेंड ऑन प्रेफरेंस शेयर्स इज आउटस्टैंडिंग फ्रॉम अप्रैल 2016. Ordinary equity shares of rupees 1.25 is to be given for rupees 10 preference shares dividend. Now this is new adjustment. Previous 4 adjustments were done in the previous sessions also, in the previous examples also. Adjustment number 5 is new in this example. क्या देके रखा है? कुछ preference dividend है जो हमें पे करना है. वो preference dividend कहाँ से outstanding है? From April 2016. So we have 4 years preference dividend outstanding. Clear? So let's start the calculation. So how many steps are there? In steps, first step is calculate capital reduction. So let's start with capital reduction amount. So this is capital reduction amount. So if we look at capital reduction amount, we are given the reduction in equity share, reduction in preference shares and share premium. Clear? So here equity share capital. How much? It is 16,000 shares multiplied with 8.75 rupees reduction. We have preference share capital. How much preference shares in the balance sheet? Look at here, 10,000 shares and reduction of rupees 1. So 10,000 multiplied with 1 rupee and we are given for writing of share premium. So here share premium. Clear? So share capital amounted to rupees. How much? Share capital amounted to rupees. It's 16,000 multiplied with 8.75. that comes to 1,40,000. So here 1,40,000, 10,000 reduction in preference share capital and reduction of rupees 30,000 in securities premium. So this is total of capital reduction. We have 1,80,000. This is first step. Clear? Second step is utilization. Second step is utilization. In utilization, what is given in the example? Intangible assets. Point number 3. Look at the point number 3. Intangible assets are to be write off. Intangible assets, we have goodwill and patent. So there is a reduction in goodwill and patent. So here goodwill. Here we have patents. Goodwill amounted to rupees 25,000. Patents 15,000. Done. Moving further, plant and machinery valued at rupees 17,000. Now see, my dear student, the previous value of plant and machinery is 1 lakh. Previous value is 1 lakh, and reduction, the new value is given at 70,000. So reduction in plant and machinery is 30,000. So here plant and machinery, how much? It is 30,000. Clear? Moving further, what is given next? Dividend on preference share is outstanding. Now we need to calculate the concept of dividend. अब dividend के लिए हमें क्या दे के रखा है? Dividend is outstanding from April 2016. अभी देखो बैलेंस शीट में 6% preference share capital दिया हुआ है. So 6%. Let's calculate here preference dividend. Rate is at 6% on 1 lakh. 1 lakh capital है, preference share capital 10,000 shares of rupees 10 each. So 1 lakh capital. For 1 lakh capital, dividend at the rate of 6% for 4 years. 4 years. That comes to 24,000. Here that comes to 24,000. अभी dividend pay कितना करना है? Equity shares of rupees 1.25 is to be given for 10 rupees preference dividend. अभी 10 rupees payment कैसे कर रहे हैं हम? Equity shares हो रहा है. Payment कैसे दे रहे हैं हम? Equity shares दे रहे हैं. For 10 rupees 1.25 rupees का shares हम दे रहे हैं. Clear? 10 rupees के सामने हम कितना दे रहे हैं? 1.25 equity. So for 24,000 rupees, how much? So how much capital we can issue to the for the preference dividend? It is 3,000. 3,000 rupees of equity shares. 3,000 rupees of equity shares are given for preference dividend. So let's find the number of equity shares. Number of equity shares issued for the preference dividend, that comes to 3,000 amount divided by 1.25, that comes to 2,400 equity shares. 2,400 equity shares are issued for preference dividend. So 3,000 is the amount of capital reduction as a preference dividend. So here preference dividend. Let's look at here the star, and this is a star calculation of this preference dividend. So we have 3,000. Clear, dear student? Any doubt here? Okay. Moving further, what we are given? Intangible assets, and at the same time profit and loss account is to be written off. So here we have profit and loss account. How much? Debit balance amounted to rupees 40,000. Amounted to rupees 40,000. So here 40,000. Make the total. This is total of utilization. How much total is there? So we have 25,000 plus 15,000 plus 30,000 plus 3,000 plus 40,000. It is 1,13,000. It is 1,13,000. Find out the step number 3. Difference transfer to capital रिजर्व। तो हमें डिफरेंस कितना मिल रहा है यहाँ पे 1,80,000 minus 1,13,000, that comes to 67,000. Is that clear, dear student? So this is step number 1, step number 2, step number 3, and step number 4 is pass necessary journal entries. Clear? So let's prepare the format of journal entry and let's pass the look at the journal entries here. First, second, third step, fourth step is journal entry. So in this example we have number 1, the entry number 1 is for capital reduction. So here first for capital reduction. For capital reduction. What is the entry here? Equity share capital account debited, preference share capital account debited, securities premium account debited to capital reduction account. So here equity share capital account debited, preference share capital account debited, share premium account debited to capital reduction account. Clear? So how much amount of equity share capital? It is 1,40,000. Preference shares it is 10,000 and share premium 30,000. Total is 1,80,000. So this is first entry for capital reduction. Clear? Entry number 2 for utilization. For utilization. What is the entry for utilization? Capital reduction account debited to all this component, to goodwill account, to patents account, to plant and machinery account, to preference dividend and to profit and loss. Clear? Now my dear student, look at here, you can write 2 entries of this. अगर आपको यहाँ पे एंट्री नहीं डालनी है तो आप इसकी 2 एंट्री डाल सकते हो। हम यहाँ पे कंबाइन एंट्री दे रहे हैं, ठीक है? सो व्हाट इज द एंट्री? कैपिटल रिडक्शन अकाउंट डेबिटेड विथ 1,13,000 to goodwill account, to patents account, to plant and machinery account, to profit and loss account, to preference dividend account. Clear? So the amount for goodwill is 25,000. For patent it is 15,000. For plant and machinery 30,000. For profit and loss 40,000 and for preference dividend it is 3,000. Clear? Total 1,30,000. So this is our second entry. Third journal entry here for equity shares issued for preference dividend. Preference dividend के लिए क्या दे रखे हैं? इक्विटी शेयर्स दे रहे हैं। कितने इक्विटी शेयर्स हैं? 3,000 रुपीज के। क्लियर? सो व्हाट इज द एंट्री? दिस प्रेफरेंस डिविडेंड अकाउंट डेबिटेड टू इक्विटी शेयर कैपिटल अकाउंट। हाउ मच अमाउंट? 3,000 अमाउंट। एंड जो हमने कैलकुलेशन किया था हमें क्या मिला था? 2,400 equity shares of rupees 1.25 each. Clear? This is what we have done. जब हमने कैलकुलेशन किया था यहाँ पे इससे पहले तो हमें मिला था कि ये जो प्रेफरेंस डिविडेंड है उसके लिए हम क्या दे रहे हैं, इक्विटी शेयर दे रहे हैं। कितने इक्विटी शेयर दे रहे हैं, 2400 इक्विटी शेयर्स ऑफ रुपीज 1.25 rupees each. Clear? And the last entry, so entry number 1, 2, 3, and the last entry is for difference transfer to capital reserve. So let's look at here. This is entry number 3, entry number 4. Entry number 4 is for transfer to capital reserve. Transfer to capital reserve. What is the entry for transfer to capital reserve? Capital reduction account debited to capital reserve account. So here capital reduction account debited to capital reserve account. How much difference is transferred to capital reserve? It is 67,000. So 67,000, 67,000. Here we have done with our journal entries. Clear, dear student? So step number 1, step number 2, step number 3, and step number 4. Now next step is to prepare capital reduction account. Done? So let's prepare capital reduction account. So here capital reduction account. This is a capital reduction account. Done. Let's give the effect of all this to the capital reduction account. Look at here. What is the entry? Equity share capital account debited, preference share capital account debited, share premium account debited to capital reduction. So on the credit side of capital reduction, by equity share capital account, by preference share capital account, and by share premium account. How much for equity share capital? It is 1,40,000, 10,000 and 30,000. Clear? Moving further, for utilization, capital reduction account debited to all this. So on the debit side of capital reduction, to goodwill account 25,000, to patents account, so to patents account 15,000, to plant and machinery account, so to plant and machinery. How much? It is 30,000. To profit and loss account debit balance amounted to rupees 40,000, and last to preference dividend account. How much? It is 3,000. Clear? This is what simply the posting of all the transactions. Now this, for the equity shares issued for preference dividend, we have no effect in capital reduction account, and the last one is transfer to capital reserve. Which is this amount? This amount is to be the balance left after closing this capital reduction account. So if we close this account, on the credit side we have 1,80,000, here also 1,80,000. So if we close, we are getting 67,000 is the amount of difference that is transferred to capital reserve account, in bracket difference. Is that clear? So this is how we can make the calculation of practical example. We have to pass journal entries, we have to prepare capital reduction account, and the last portion is to prepare revised balance sheet after implementing this scheme of capital reduction. Clear? So let's prepare balance sheet on the basis of, look at here, this is simply a format of balance sheet.
After journal entries and capital reduction account, we have supposed to prepare balance sheet. Now this is simply a format of balance sheet. On the liability side, this is sources of fund, share capital, reserves and surplus, secured loans and current liabilities. On asset side, that is application of fund, fixed asset, investment and current asset. Clear? Now what we have to do? We have to look at the previous balance sheet and give the effect in new revised balance sheet. Clear? So look at the previous balance sheet. In share capital, we have two types of capital: equity share capital and preference share capital. So previously we have shares. How many shares were there? 16,000 shares of rupees 100 each. 16,000 shares of rupees 10 each. Sorry. And that shares are reduced by 8.75. So now that shares are of rupees 1.25. So 16,000 shares of rupees 1.25 plus हमने कुछ शेयर्स जो थे वो प्रेफरेंस डिविडेंड के लिए इश्यू किए थे. वो कितने शेयर्स थे? 2,400. सो टोटल 18,400 शेयर्स of rupees 1.25 each. Of rupees 1.25 each, that comes to 23,000. Another, we had preference share capital. How many shares were there? 10,000 shares of rupees 10 each, and in that we have reduced rupees 1. So here 10,000 shares of rupees 9 each. 9 rupees left. So here 90,000. In previous balance sheet, we have what we have? We have securities premium, but we have utilized the securities premium. And the new capital reserve is 67,000. So in reserves and surplus, capital reserve. Capital reserve amounted to rupees 67,000. Clear? Moving further, secured loans. Secured loans, we have 15% debentures. 15% debentures amounted to rupees 50,000. So here debentures 50,000, and the last one is creditors amounted to rupees 75,000. Clear? So this is our liability side. This is total of A. Clear? Moving further, come to the asset side. What we have in previous balance sheet? We have goodwill and patents that we have written off. Plant and machinery. So first is freehold asset. No change in freehold assets. How much assets are there? Look at the example. Freehold assets amounted to rupees 55,000. Then we have plant and machinery. Previously it was 1 lakh, and there is reduction of rupees 30,000. So the new balance is 70,000. Moving further, we have furniture. So there is no reduction in furniture. So as it is, furniture amounted to rupees 40,000. And investment of rupees 15,000. No change in investment. And in current assets also, we don't have any kind of change. So stock, debtors and bank balance. So here stock, debtors and bank balance. Stock amounted to rupees 80,000. Debtors amounted to rupees 16,000. And bank balance amounted to rupees 29,000. Clear, dear student? So this is how we can prepare the balance sheet of this practical example. This is total of B. So total of this comes to will be 3 lakh 5,000, 3 lakhs 5,000. Done. So this is the full length practical example of capital reduction. Clear? If you have any doubt, then comment in the comment box. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.